The revs starting to rise here at Oulton Park for the first of two races today for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, and it gets underway now, and it's a good start from Paul Cook from the outside of the front row of the grid. A bit of wheel spin there from Jack Layton on pole position, so he drops back down into second position as they go into Old Hall corner. Wayne Lewis it is in third by the looks of it as they all head their way through Old Hall for the first time. Steve Schweikart going out wide, and one or two even wider than him through Old Hall corner for the first time, and now they dive down through Cascades for the first time, and it is for the moment still Paul Cook head of Jack Layton and then Wayne Lewis in third, but I think that lead about to change.
Yeah, Layton much quicker off Cascades corner, then looking to the inside as we head towards Island Bend. It's been a big sort out as we expected in the early stages because of that jumbled grid in what was a very heavily interrupted qualifying session earlier on this morning, but Paul Cook and Jack Layton we expected to be two of the front runners, and off has gone. That's Layton, isn't it? Off at Shell Oil. So Jack Layton then was challenging Paul Cook for the lead. He's gone straight on up at the Shell hairpin and has clobbered the tyre barriers on the outside of the track. So Jack Layton out of the race surely. The marshal's running over to make sure he's okay, to assess the situation as to whether this will require a safety car. There's another car on the grass at the Britain chicane, but Jack Layton out of the race.
Yeah, so in some ways that makes this a little bit more straightforward because that was an invitation class car, which is possibly going to be a bit of a distraction from the main business in the championship. But we're now going to have a pure fight out in the front of the field. There we can see the number 27 car, I should say, going through. And we've got a variety of different shapes of BMW here, as Kieran was examining down there on the grid just a few moments ago. There we can see the 311 car, Steve Walden, his E36 M3, which I think is a new car to him. He only bought it last year and he made its debut in it at Mallory Park only a couple of weeks ago. But the leaders turning in towards Lodge for the first time. There is Steve Schweikart. He's just heading up into Lodge corner now in the number 43 car. He's got a bit of daylight ahead of him. Is that Mark Colmer possibly in his BMW that's just immediately in front of him on track? But at the end of the first lap, it's Paul Cook leading in number 26 from number 7 Wayne Lewis. Treble 6 is in third place. That's the car of David Jefferson. Fourth is number 76 Stuart Pywell. Fifth is 37, which is Kevin Granger. And then I think it's Mark Colmer in sixth.
Yep, side-by-side battle further back. That's the number 27 car on the outside line of Chris Blakey, but the safety car is being scrambled. Yeah, not a huge surprise with Jack Layton's car in the wall up at the Shell hairpin, and so the race gets neutralised as a result. The field slows down, no overtaking allowed, and Paul Cook's little margin that he pulled over Wayne Lewis will evaporate.
Yeah, now the safety car didn't get out in time to pick up the leader. I can see it is still waiting at the pit lane exit, so it's going to wait for the whole field to go through and then it will pick up the cars at the end of the lap. But they're still under neutralised, effectively full course yellow conditions for the moment. You can see the marshals there are trackside with the Jack Layton car, the car that started on pole position, the E46 M3, the very hot car indeed of Jack Layton. That will be dealt with by the marshals. It will probably involve a visit by the recovery truck as well to move that to a position of safety. So for the moment here, we're behind the safety car here at Oulton Park, where Paul Cook was leading at the end of the first lap from Wayne Lewis, David Jefferson, Stuart Pywell, Kevin Granger and Mark Colmer. Class leaders, Steve Schweikart leading Class 6, David Aspden leading Class M2, and Gareth Thomas in Car 68, 17th place overall, leading the Cup class from Will Lake. And it's Gareth Thomas, as we're saying, that leads the championship coming into this weekend.
Yeah, so shame that the safety car's out, but hopefully won't take too long. They'll send a recovery vehicle from the Cascades area of the track, I would have thought, up to Shell, get it out of the gravel trap. Might be a couple of laps behind the safety car, but hopefully the second half of the race we will get going once again. Now that looks like a fairly expensive engine blow-up for car number 69 up at Druids. That's not a good place for fluid to be laid, and that is Aidan Vilku, who was his class championship leader, was he not, and up there in the overall standings, and he is also out of the race.
That's a real shame for Aidan Vilku. He's 24 years old from Willenhall, an electrical engineer. His first season of racing, he had a stunning debut at Oulton Park, 2 months ago now, in this 1994 E36 M3 that he's built up with his stepfather. But it does look like there's some probably rather expensive engine work going to be required there after that blow-up. So the cars are passing him. Obviously they're under yellow flags, but I think it's clear in this instance that this is a slow car with a problem. There's another one in the background that also looks like it is going to be pit lane bound as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was. Aiden's actually not going to make it to the pit lane, pulls into the access road on the inside at Lodge Corner. Now, the question is, has that car been depositing fluid on the circuit? Because if it has, there is a trail of fluid potentially now from the top of Clay Hill all the way around to the apex at Lodge Corner, which hopefully isn't the case. The other car, by the way, that we saw going slowly was the number 71, so that's Sean Foley, but he's continued, albeit with the indicator on and at a massively reduced pace, so I'm not sure what that was all about. But anyway, Aiden at least gets his car out of the way. The recovery vehicle is on point at Shell. Have already actually got Jack Layton's car out of the barrier and are ready to present it to the recovery crews, so it shouldn't take long to get the race back underway, provided there is no surface work that needs to go on in the final sector.
Yep, that's right. We'll obviously keep an eye on that. The marshals will have a look at that and work out if there is anything that needs to be done in the way of addressing a fluid spill in the sort of final part of the lap. We've got, as you can see, the safety car panels as well as the safety car boards being shown, yellow flags as well being waved by the marshals, with the majority of circuits now having been upgraded, those certainly hosting British Touring Car Championship rounds, to have the lighting panels as well as flag points for the marshals. So there you can see the recovery truck is about to head into position at Shellow's Corner to collect that Jack Layton car that sort of headed more or less straight on into the barriers at Shellow's Corner. The slippery surface flag, that's the red and yellow stripe flag, that's being prepared by the marshals up towards Druids. And so, yes, as we possibly thought, Andy, I think some fluid has been put down by the hapless Aidan Vilku. Yeah,
nothing he could do about it, of course. He was going slowly behind the safety car, not expecting that. He did well, actually, to get off the racing line as soon as he did feel that there was an issue, but how much of that did then end up, particularly on the apex at Druids, we'll have to wait and see. But there didn't seem to be any activity from marshals heading to the track with buckets of cement dust, so hopefully it's there more as a precaution than a confirmation that that there is fluid down on the track.
That's right. So we've got the cars under caution conditions here for the moment. Paul Cook and Wayne Lewis out in front, long-time competitors with the 750 Motor Club. They both started out with the MR2 Championship, and then they raced in the M3 Championship when that ran for a couple of seasons with the 750 Motor Club as well. David Jefferson, as we've said, third place at the moment in his E92 M3, the driver from Ormskirk in the treble 6 car, ahead of Stuart Pywell, number 76, who is in the E46 M3 on this particular occasion. Then we've got Cavan Granger, number 37, in the E46 330ci for the driver from Woking. Then Mark Colmer, number 66, is next up in his E36 M3. Steve Schreikart leading Class 6, he's in 7th place, he's 49 years of age, from Spalding. He is been racing for 3 years in Class 6, was the overall champion last year, did some racing on the ovals as well, between the ages of 15 and 22 as well. And the engine in the car that we're on board with now is an M54 3-litre engine prepared by Swap Motorsport. It was upgraded this from a 316 Ti car, so an engine change and quite a bit of modification to accommodate the extra power, I should think, has been done to that car over the years. And he's ahead on the track of number 20, David Aspton, who's 55 years old, from Bradford, a vehicle telemetry engineer, easy for me to say. Actually started out racing with 750 Motor Club in kit cars some time ago. His claim to fame is beating Andy Hiley at Cadwell Park, and his car was a 1998 normally aspirated 2.8 litre straight 6 car, and he runs as a privateer. Paul Laramie is next up, number 31. 43 years old, he's head of programme management. He's been racing since 2018, initially in the Cup class, illustrating the fact that it is a very good place to start your racing in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. And now in Class 6 in this Automac prepared 3-litre car from 2002. And then behind Paul Laramie, you've got the number 17 car of Andrew Pywell, who's one of the younger drivers on the grid in the 328i that he raced. So he's running out the top 10 at the moment, just ahead of Chris Blakey, one of the drivers that we were hearing from on the grid. He's from Lincoln, an IT consultant, 40 years of age, again pretty new to racing. He started racing in 2022, and the car that he races is I think pretty much all of his own work, so it's something that he's no doubt pretty proud of. So we're still behind the safety car here. How long have we got left to go? About 10 minutes, Andy, but perhaps we'll be able to get going at the end of this one.
You would hope so, although intriguingly, having sent a flatbed truck up to the shell area of the circuit, they then sent it back again, but not with a BMW on the back of it. The marshals instead pushing the car further around the corner, so I'm not entirely sure where the Jack Layton E46 M3 ended up, but out of the way, I hope, is the answer. And if that is the case, then yes, we should go racing again at the end of this lap. Didn't get a view, or there you can see. So Shell is clear. There's a marshal sort of waving that. It's just on the left of shot. Yes, it had been hidden by the timing tower. So that is Jack Layton's car. Maybe just getting it onto a flatter surface because there's so much camber in the road up there at Shell. It does complicate actually the recovery process a little bit. So they've got that car out of the way, or will have shortly.
Probably going to be another lap though, at least I would
fear
think.
So, yeah, because they've got to get it off the recovery truck off the track. Now, the soonest they can do that, realistically, is on the exit of Knickerbrook Corner. There is an access road onto the old range corner, as it used to be called, on the inside line, but that will take another minute or two at least. So yeah, one more lap, I fear.
Yeah, a great shame that one of the feature races here today, the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, is being disrupted by the safety car after that first lap incident, which befell Jack Layton, who went off at Shell Oil's corner, his car still needing to be recovered. And of course, safety the absolute priority here, over and above everything else. We don't have facility in these races for more time to be added on in the end, like in the British Touring Car Championship, where you can have up to an extra 3 laps at the end of a safety car period, but such are the timetables that we work with in club racing. That's not necessarily possible here. I think you're just looking there, Andy, to what damage there might be to the front of that car.
Oh, and the answer is very little, actually. I mean, I'm no mechanic. There's a little bit of superficial damage, sure, but the bumper looks very much intact. Everything's still attached. It's still got 4 wheels. So, yeah, hopefully that car will be back out again later on. It was more the fact that I think it was stuck in the gravel and couldn't dig its way out. So that's good news.
Yeah, so safety car lights are still on, so it will do another lap. I suspect now that they know that recovery truck is on the move, the safety car driver might be instructed just to ease his right foot a little bit further down and make it a slightly quicker lap this time, just to maximise the amount of racing laps that we get in this BMW Car Club Racing Championship. Another driver to talk about, another Oulton Park fan, by the way, is the 888 car. That's Andy Phillips, who's from Nantwich, just up the road, 44-year-old company director. Only started racing last year, I think, but also does some Legends racing as well. And he's an ex-GP midget champion on the ovals as well. And he's out there in his APA Motorsport prepared E46 car from 2002. And then you get into some of the Cup class cars as well. So there's drivers there that we can tell you about, including, for example, Paul Neville, who's 57. He's retired, and he only started racing last year. I think I talked to him on the grid on last year's grid walk at this meeting. And he did all the work himself on the car, on the drive, in the garage, whatever. And very pleased with that he was too. He's now back for his second season of racing in the 325 Ti, so you can certainly build and prepare these cars yourself in the Cup class from your own home. And there's that Sean Foley car that's right at the back of the field here, the mighty M3 GTR E46 for the man from Wigan. And you can sense now on this safety car lap that pace has picked up, Andy.
Yes, definitely. It will still take them another minute and a bit probably to get back to the start-finish line from where they are now. So we're looking really at a 5-minute shootout here, I think, and makes the restart all the more important. If Paul Cook can build a margin over Wayne Lewis, then it might take Wayne the rest of the race to close in. You can see Paul Cook, years of experience, Paul Cook, he knows what he's doing. He's backing away from the safety car. We're only at his lap, so they've got still a third of the lap to go, but Paul wants to leave as much space between himself and the safety car as possible so that he can accelerate into that space and try and gap Wayne Lewis off the restart. Wayne, though, of course, will be wise to that. He'll know what's going on too. It's going to be an interesting cat and mouse game, this, to see who can get the advantage.
Yeah, so probably that 5 minutes is going to equate to 3 laps, I would think, something like that. When this race gets back in the way. Safety car lights are still on that. There is some oil that has been dressed there at Druids, as evidenced by the dust that's now being kicked up by the safety car as it runs over it. Some of the drivers either choosing to go either one side or the other of it if they can. So I think that's the fluid that was dropped by Aidan Vilco's Aileen car about 10 minutes ago now. But it did look like the marshals had managed to get out there in order to dress that oil slick. Safety car lights are out, so that's going to peel into the pit lane with just under now 5 minutes of the race left to go. So it's Paul Cook left to control the pace. I'm not sure he could make this last another 5 minutes, although it would be desirable for him to do so. He has gone now. He's accelerated. So he's heading through Lodge Corner. He's going to be up to the line, and yeah, they should get 3 laps, I would think, out of this restart. He is over the line now, and green flags are waving here at Oulton Park with 4.5 minutes to go. So Paul Cook it is that leads from Wayne Lewis by 1.4 seconds, with David Jefferson third, Stuart Pywell fourth, Kevin Granger fifth, and Mark Colmer sixth. And obviously, unlike on the original start, Andy, they're much more spread out. Yes,
a little bit more orderly through Old Hall Corner this time. Single file, a couple of gaps further back where drivers maybe weren't quite awake at the restart, and that separates the field a little bit. But Paul Cook nailed the restart. 1.4 seconds his margin over Wayne Lewis before they even got to the first corner. So a fantastic restart for him. Good battle raging further back though. That's Andrew Pywell on the tail of Paul Laramie. Paul Laramie in 9th overall, but this is the fight for second place within Class 6. Laramie having to go defensive into Island Bend. Chris Blakey is the car behind as well. It would be remiss of me not to mention the fact that Paul Laramie and Chris Blakey do a lot of sim racing together for the VRRC. They're currently competing in a one-mate BMW Championship and vying for an all-important 10th spot in the points. Those two very evenly matched on the sim and always seem to find each other on track as well.
And that's the value you can add to this commentary team, Andy, because I would have had no idea about any of that. Anyway, they're turning their way through Britain's for the, what are we on? 6th time, although only really the sort of 2nd time in anger. At the front of Steve Schweikart, behind him is David Aspden then in that BMW Z3 for the driver from Bradford, the sort of Gulf-esque liveried car, just ahead of this battle between Paul Laramie and Andrew Pywell, and then just behind them Chris Blakey. It's all rather tight for 9th, 10th and 11th positions. Some dust, as you can see, those of you watching on the live stream, being kicked up through Druids now where the oil was dressed, and it is quite thick for a moment, the dust screen that emerges, but everyone looks to have made it safely through there. As we're coming up to the end of another lap, Paul Cook has just done the best lap of the race, really the first flying lap of the race, a 1:52.512, which is about 1.5 seconds slower than he went in qualifying.
Laramie there defending his second place in class through Lodge Corner, car number 31, and defended it successfully. Remember, it's Schweikart who leads in Class 6. David Aspden is then between Stephen and this battle for second place, which right now is the focus point in this race, isn't it? Sideways goes Pywell on the exit of Old Hall Corner, but carries good momentum towards Cascades, and the sort of 90s works BMW livery from the British Touring Car Championships, sort of still on the attack, but sideways again through Cascades. So Andrew Pywell's car is, I think drivers would say, rear grip limited at the moment, but it isn't slowing him down.
No, it's certainly not. Heading through that left-hander at Island before they head to the banked right-handed hairpin at Shell Oil's corner. That's Mark Coleman, number 66, going through. Then Steve Schweikart, our Class 6 leader. And in this battle, David Aspden just seems to have bottled up quite a few cars behind him, really, doesn't he? All the way back to, I think, sort of Clive Watson or something like that in 13th position. Immediately behind him is that number 31 car of Paul Laramie. The man has been racing in this championship ever since it was created, basically, and has moved up through the classes as time has gone on. Chris Blakey in the 27 car looked to be having a look down the inside, but that didn't work out. I don't think he was really close enough to actually do anything about it. So that didn't come off, but still very much could come off, this battle between Andrew Pywell and Paul Laramie for 9th and 2nd in Class 6.
And it's backing them up into Andrew Phillips and Adrian Williams, who are also running in Class 6. So you've got 2nd through to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. All together within class, led by the number 31 car, and sort of getting bottled up really behind the Z3, the Gulf liveried Z3 of David Aspden, who doesn't run in their class. Pywell's had a good run out of Druids, peeking to the inside of Laramie now as we head towards Lodge Corner, and I think this time he will commit to the manoeuvre, gets to the apex first, parks the car on the inside. Laramie squeezed out over the curb, and here now comes Chris Blakey to take advantage.
Yeah, Chris Blakey, it looks like he's going to pounce there, and he's going to be on the inside line for Oulton corner as well. In fact, he's already made it through as they arrive at Oulton corner that time. So, bit of a disappointment there for number 31, Paul Laramie. He loses a couple of places in one fell swoop, really, and now he's got to be mindful of the cars that are coming up behind him. Andy Phillips and Adrian Williams amongst them, as they head now down to Cascades once again. A spin for Andy Pyle, and oh, thank goodness for that. I thought the next car was going to go straight into the side, but I think he managed to avoid it.
That would have been Chris Blakey. I didn't see Chris come back on the track, though. He had to take to the grass to avoid, and I'm not sure where he ended up, but you could see that coming, couldn't you? Andrew Pywell's car was getting more and more oversteery on acceleration, and he almost lost it at Cascades a lap ago. Properly lost it this time. Up at Shell goes Laramie. There is no sign still of Chris Blakey, I'm afraid. So Blakey may have been delayed, may have sustained some damage. We'll try and pick him out later on, but a shame because that sort of split that pack now.
Yeah, absolutely right. So out of Britain's they come, the survivors from that pack. We'll see if Andrew Pywell managed to get going as well, maybe, after all of that. But David Aspin, he's in a Class M2 car, so he's not in the same class as those behind him in Class 6. There's the race leader, which is still Paul Cook, by the way, and the clock has counted down to 0. We kind of missed that, didn't we? And therefore, the checkered flag is waved, so it's Paul Cook that wins round 5 of the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. Wayne Lewis, number 7, is in second place. David Jefferson, number 6, is in third position. Paul Cook also doing the fastest lap of the race on the final lap. Stuart Pywell, number 76, takes 4th position in the green and gold car, and quite a gap back to 5th, because that is going to be either Catherine Granger or Mark Culmer. Meanwhile, are we going to get a change in this battle, which involves Adrian Williams? No, here's Steve Schweikart, number 43. He's going to come through to take 7th place in the Class 6 win. Over the line that he goes now. He sees the checkered flag. So it's another win for Steve Schweikart in Class 6. That is only his 2nd of the season, though. Paul Travers and Chris Blakey also having had class wins during the course of the year. Not such a successful season so far, at least, for last year's class champion. Overall champion, I should say. And there towards the back you can see the 71 car coming through. That is still the Sean Foley M3 GTR.
Sorry, so we've just had Pywell across the line. Pywell finished 14th, but yes, Blakey has vanished, and so has Andrew Phillips. So, of course, he would have been the next car behind again. So, have to wonder whether maybe as Blakey backed off, Phillips has sort of collected him or something. But 2 cars, both of them front runners within their class, seemingly not set to reach the flag.
Yeah, and there's one that's actually just pulled into the pit lane before the checkered flag as well. Didn't quite see that was. Oh, that might be Phillips, actually. I think that's headed down pit lane before it's arrived at the checkered flag. So I think that's just about everybody over the line that's going to get to the line now. Just 1 or 2 more cars to come, maybe.
It was Phillips in the pit lane, by the way, confirm. Yeah,
okay, yes, we've got that graphic on our screen. Now there is Chris Blakey's car. So where did he end up?
That's on the exit of Cascades, and there is steam coming from the front, which suggests a frontal impact might have damaged the radiator. So, or could have, of course, just dug in on the grass, I guess.
Yes, yeah, okay, we're seeing it from Knickerbrook, aren't we, there? That's the view across there. Just trying to place that, but your local knowledge came to the fore.
Well, that's the view I normally get when I'm allowed down in the Knickerbrook commentary box. It's a cracking place to go and watch.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, no, I've been there many times there, at a different angle. Marshall's giving the drivers a wave and a smile and a slowing down lap, which is always good, and hopefully the drivers are reciprocating, and most drivers do, don't they? They show their appreciation to the marshals on the slowing down lap, and you know, there's a mutually beneficial relationship between them, isn't there? Because we couldn't have the drivers without the marshals, and the marshals would have nothing to do without the drivers. Let's have a look at the results then. Paul Cook it was that took the win at the end of 20 minutes and 8 laps of racing in car number 26, the E46 M3. He finished ahead of number 7, Wayne Lewis, the gap between them 3.8 seconds. Third was number treble 6, David Jefferson. Fourth was number 76, Stuart Pywell. Fifth, 37, Catherine Granger. And sixth, 66, Mark Culmer. Those all Class M1 cars. Then a Class 6 car, the Class 6 winner, Stephen Schweikart, number 43. And an M2 class car, the M2 class winner, number 20, David Aspin. He was 8th. Paul Laramie was 9th in number 31. Adrian Williams was 10th in number 67. Head of Clive Watson and Steve Walls. And then in 13th place, number 68, Gareth Thomas. He took the win in the Cup class for the 325 Ti Compacts ahead of Andrew Pywell, who recovered after that big moment on the exit of Cascades. Will Lake, number 4, was 2nd in the Cup class, and Jason Rees, number 9, was 3rd in that class in 16th place overall, with Sam Oulton, Sean Foley, Matthew Smith, Stephen Kay, Gareth Pywell, Andrew Phillips and Paul Neville completing the finishers in the end. So that's the first BMW Car Club Racing Championship race. Now there's not that long of a turnaround. It's 4 o'clock that we are due out for the second BMW Car Club Racing Championship race, because just 2 races between them. Coming up next, we're going to have the Gaz Shocks 116 Trophy, the 90-minute endurance race for the BMWs, and then the F1000 Championship has its second race of the day before the BMW Car Club Racing Championship out for the second time. We do, of course, have the Ultimate BMW race rounding out the day here at Oulton Park, special 40-minute race to find which is the best and the fastest of the BMWs out there here at Oulton Park this weekend at BMW Live, where there's ongoing attractions on the infield, in the Fogarty Moss Centre, the trade stands, the displays, the Scale Extric, the sim racings, lots and lots to see and do here at Oulton Park. And we'll perhaps be able to hear some more about that later on during the stream here at Oulton Park today. But we can head down now to Kieran Rock, who once again is in Parc Fermé, and he's going to catch up with our successful drivers from the BMWs.
Certainly quite an interesting race there, and out for the overall win, Mr. Paul Cook. We spoke earlier, and you managed to convert the pole that you took to a win. Congratulations.
Yes, in a different car actually than what I was in earlier. It's had a good start. My race wasn't with, I can't remember the number now, the guy who went off on the first lap. It was with Wayne and a few others. But when he overtook me, I wasn't going to battle with him, and then he overshot into Shell, and that was the end of his race. And I was grateful of the long safety car for a bit of a rest, to be honest. It's going to be a long day.
Absolutely. And is there anybody you'd like to thank for the win?
Yeah, definitely. My sponsor, Quick Charge, sponsors my tyres, and my family for letting me be here. So, all good.
Excellent. Congratulations then.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yes, thank you. So move on to class winner, Strikeart. So congratulations, obviously right in the pack there, but how was it?
Short. Yeah, it was a good race, but obviously it's a bit short. But yeah, hopefully next time we have a full race and not just a short one. But yeah, unfortunate. But there you go.
Did you find on the chance that on the small bits that you did actually get some racing? Did you find the competition tough, or did you find it relatively easy?
I was just pushing as hard as I could and hoping, keeping my eye on people in the back. I thought they was going to come, but it's short race, so it helped me a little bit. So I'm pleased about that, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Congratulations on your class win.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So head over to our next class winner, which is Mr. David Aspen in the number 20, the Z3 machine here, which we spoke about actually just on the grid before we jumped in. So David, we're actually having a bit of a talk about your car just for the race, because we've spoken to a guy with an MX-5 with a roof on it and said how obviously it helps the aerodynamics, and obviously I'm guessing that then that air vent there throws the air into the cabin.
It does.
And
it really needs it. It really needs it.
I was about to say, is it a bit hot in there today?
It's a bit warm in there, yeah. I can't get all the heat out of the engine, so it radiates down the transmission tunnel. Obviously the exhaust is under there, and yeah, the roof vent and the window vents help. But yeah, it can be hard work, especially when I previously did road sports with this car. So 45 minutes sat in there, I'm sweating buckets when I come out.
Absolutely, it might be difficult, but you won your class, so congratulations.
Yes, yeah, I'm surprised that I actually qualified first in class. It's been almost 20 years since I last raced here, and that wasn't with much success back in the kit car days. But yeah, it kept all 4 wheels on the black stuff, and here we are.
Is it
more this afternoon?
Absolutely. Is anybody you'd like to thank for the class win?
Just my brother, my wife, Caroline, my brother Paul, Andy, Terry, who helps me out in the paddock. And if this is my first class win, then I'll dedicate this to my daughter Phoebe.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations then.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you. And to our fourth class winner, which is Mr. Gareth Thomas in the 68 machine here. Congratulations. Obviously, again, right in the pack as well. So how was it out there?
It was a bit of a strange race, to be honest. I mean, I had a fantastic start. There was cars all over the place. Coming up to the first bend, there was cars on the grass, gravel everywhere, but I managed to dice in between them. I got a gap on Will, which was, my next one down, and I thought this was going to be good. Then we come around 2 bends later, car in the gravel, so then safety car came. So that was panic stations then, you know, all that good work has just come back to nothing. But yeah, on the restart again, there was a big gap and I managed to maintain it. Not there was many racing laps, but yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll take it for the win, that's fine, yeah.
Absolutely. Is anybody you'd like to thank for it?
Well, Laura's always here by my side, trackside, and a couple of years ago, Neil made some fantastic setup changes on the car, and since then, it's been non-stop. I've been happy with that, yeah, all good.
Great. Well, congratulations on your win.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you very much. And for the next race, we are going to an interview with Will Beaumont.